I'm like Jordan dropping 40 on the last time. Yeah. I'm on the floor searching for Shotty for the last time. Ayy, wish my moment would last forever, but nothing ever lasts forever. So let's do it one last time. Yeah. I'm like Jordan dropping 40 on the last time. Yeah. I'm on the floor searching for Shotty for the last time. Ayy, wish my moment would last forever, but nothing ever lasts forever. So let's do it one last time. Yeah. I'm like Jordan dropping 40 on the last time. Yeah. I'm on the floor searching for Shotty for the last time. Ayy, wish my moment would last forever, but nothing ever lasts forever. So let's do it one last time. Yeah. I'm like Jordan dropping 40 on the last time. Yeah. I'm on the floor searching for Shotty for the last time. Ayy, wish my moment would last forever, but nothing ever lasts forever. So let's do it one last time.
Hello, welcome to episode 1 of the Slim Dolla Show. We are live, we are thriving, and we are here doing the best we can to be the best we can. Crazy day in college football. Georgia 65-7. Just complete and total annihilation. Stetson Bennett, Quarterback of the future, more than likely. Really interesting to see where Georgia goes after this, whether they want to stay a number one school, rebuild, or just choose to do something that everyone knows they're going to do, which is just keep getting better. They're going to keep getting good players. They're going to be a top recruiting school, but I mean, this is all different now, right? I mean, it's not Ohio State, it's not Alabama. It hasn't been USC for a long time. A lot of people thought maybe it should have been USC this year, but it's not. And you could say maybe USC could have beat Utah at least once. I think so too. As a USC fan, they definitely should have beat them at least once. But the main premise of just how good are you willing to be? How good are you willing to be able to sustain that greatness? Are you going to be a great team? Or are you going to cave and understand that you only get so many good recruits? I mean, it's college football. USC was under probation for a long time. They're finally getting back to where they need to be. They got Caleb Williams. They got Mario Williams. They got Lincoln Riley, all from Oklahoma. The transfer portal is free agency for college football now. They have that. It's a thing. So you don't necessarily need to be recruiting kids out of high school. I mean, it helps, but do you necessarily need to be doing that all the time when there's something like the transfer portal? Maybe not. Maybe not. The one thing college football taught us was you have to beat the important teams. USC was a top 10 ranked team. A top 10 ranked team. Couldn't beat Utah. College football is transporting itself into somewhat of a win now state of mind, because the students now have that opportunity where they can move on. They can go towards a whole nother school. They don't really necessarily need to stay where they are. What's up, Edu? How's it going, man? We're just talking about a little college football, talking about the transfer portal and all that stuff. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be on an Oklahoma or a Boston college. You could realize your worth and your potential, and you could just go to a different school, much like you can now in the pros. You know, like you always were able to do in the pros. It's a fun concept, I think, and it definitely prepares them to be able to move around and understand what they need to do with their own state of worth, where they see themselves as players. I mean, look at Deion Sanders when he was moving he was moving colleges and all that, and doing all that. When he was not moving colleges and he was getting drafted, he would say they asked me for so much money they would have had to pay me in sections. And you know, when a college player can say that, because now they have sponsorships and all that. They have sponsorships that they can make an absurd amount of money from, right? They can make a lot of money off of sponsorships now. And as college students, that's huge, right? That's huge. Because that puts you in the pedestal of possibly being smarter than a lot of the different athletes that are coming into the league, because you're already getting that practice, that adherence to a business setting when you play sports. You're not just going to class and then playing football, right? And so I see a team like Georgia, 65 points in the national championship. Absolutely absurd. Only give up 7 points to a 13-1 team. The TCU Horned Frogs weren't bad. They were a good team. And you gotta love where they're going. I don't know a whole lot about college football. I watch it from time and again, but I'm just looking at this list, Kansas State 7-2, Texas 6-3, Oklahoma State 4-5, Baylor 4-5. Oklahoma was 3-6 this year. All in their conference, 6-7 overall. Kansas State was 10-4. Yeah, we're talking about college players. Yeah, college football players. TCU didn't have that tough of a division. I mean, TCU, yeah, they didn't have that tough of a conference in a division, But it's hard. It's hard to stop a team like Georgia. 8-0 in their conference. TCU is 9-0. Better record, but when it comes to the big game, the bright lights of SoFi, it's a different animal. That's for sure. Yeah, a good time to transfer onto some NBA talk. The Warriors, my team, my hometown team, are 20-20. 500. 6 in the West. Long NBA season. We're in January. Started in October. A lot can happen. Kevin Durant just got hurt. Mild MCL sprain. The ever ticking clock of legends in the NBA that we grew up watching. LeBron dropping 40+ point triple doubles at at age 38. I mean, that's insane, right? That's insane. Like, he shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be playing on the level that he's playing on. And shout out to Edu. Long live the NCAA college football games, the video games that we all used to love and play and enjoy. Terrell Pryor, I think he was on one of the covers when he was on Ohio State. I know Tebow was on one of the covers. But those games were great. But LeBron shouldn't be putting up these numbers, but he is. At his age, he's putting up those numbers because he's a physically, he's just an anomaly. Been in the league for 2000 since 2003's 20th year. No one's been able to figure him out. Won a championship with every team he's played on. To me, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Just because he's won 6 championships and he never lost. So it's kind of like he won 6 straight championships because he never lost. But I just, when you get into the GOAT conversation, it's always interesting because you start just listing guys, you start thinking about what qualifies as greatness, right? What is the main idea to be great? Is it championships? Is it points scored? Is it how much better you made your team while you were on it, your franchise over the years? Is it all-star games? Is it MVPs? You know, there's so many different things that go into it when you really put it all in one pot, kind of stir it together. You could say guys like Kareem. You could say guys like LeBron, like Mike, like Kobe, and let's not even talk about GOATs yet. Let's talk about, you know, MVPs this season. Like, you could say the same thing. Like, who, like, this season right now, barring Stephen Curry's injury, he's probable for tomorrow. We'll see if he comes back. We'll see. That's up to his body. If you're talking MVP, you have to look at guys like Luka Doncic, right? You have to look at guys like Nikola Jokic. You have to look at guys like before Steph Curry got hurt, you know. He was averaging 30 plus, you know. And when you're averaging 30 plus at Steph's age, it's very respectable. Looking at the MVP race 2023. So Jokic is in the lead. Durant is in there as well. And you have to love Giannis too. And you have to throw possibly a Jason Tatum or a John Morant or maybe even a Joel Embiid in there. And before Steph got injured, he was my MVP. Easily. The foundation of winning the MVP in the NBA, it's slightly political now. I'm just going to say it's slightly political. Because you cannot tell me the past 2 years, or even last year, when Stephen Curry won Western Conference All-Star Game MVP, Finals MVP, All-Star Game MVP, how do you not give that man this season MVP? And how do you have him behind in the year before, or even maybe even this year, or this past year, behind Joel Embiid? That's just my gripe. That's where I stand on that. But this season, I feel like there's a lot more spread on it because Luka Doncic, 60 something points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists. Like, what? Those are 2K numbers, my guy. You're dropping 2K numbers regularly. He's averaging 34 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, 8.7 assists. Only guy as close to him is Giannis, 32 points per game, 11.8 rebounds per game, and 5.2 assists per game. The idea that big men are the only guys winning MVPs nowadays, I feel like is about to change. It's about to change because I feel like Luka Doncic is definitely going to win one. If not this year, he's definitely going to win one, maybe two in his career. Durant, before he got hurt yesterday, he was playing like an MVP. Tatum played like an MVP tonight, beating the Bulls. And even Joel Embiid this year, he's averaging 33, 9, and 4. As a fan of the NBA, and someone that wish he could have played in it one day, but that's a whole other conversation. I am glad that Steph Curry did what he did to the NBA. We can all go back and watch, you know, guys like Kobe and Shaq, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Tracy McGrady and Yao, you know, the big man point guard tandem, the shooting guard tandem, Dwayne Wade and Shaq. We can all go back and look at that and see what it took, what the NBA was back then, what it took to win a championship. You had your big man, who was your facilitator. You pass it to him at the top of the key. You pass the open man, or you would go down low, you'd post up, and you just give him the ball. Now you got those same big men, right? Those same 7 foot, 6'8" to 7 foot big men, right? Winning 3-point competitions. Call or Anthony Towns. The league is not what it used to be. Steph Curry broke the system. And, say what you want. To me, that's my MVP every season. And it's not just because I'm a Warriors fan. It's because that is the best offensive force in sports right now. Right now. And I've thought that of Steph Curry for years. It is the best. He's the best shooter, the best raw scorer in the league, in sports. Now, I know everybody says Tom Brady and all that stuff, but he's up there. He's up there. But a guy like Stephen Curry, you cannot deny his greatness, And I'm looking at the MVP race right now, and I don't see Steph Curry. I know he's been hurt for a while, but still. He's averaging more than John Morant, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, and Domantas Sabonis before he got hurt. That's the whole bottom four. The return will be televised, though. When Steph Curry comes back, the world will see. But back to my point, like, Steph Curry changed the game in a way that I don't think it'll ever shift. I don't think it'll ever revert back to what it was. Because Steph Curry was so effective. He was so mind blowing, you know? It was such a paradigm shift in the league because three pointers, they weren't taboo. Like, you definitely had people that can shoot threes. Like, you definitely had some dead eyes in the league. You had Ray Allen, Jamal Crawford, Carmelo, J.R. Smith. You know, you had people back then. Robert Ory, if you want to go further back. Hedo Turkoglu, Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby. You had people in the league that could drain it from distance, and they did. You know, that was their job. Mike Dunleavy. I can go on and on. Troy Murphy, Steven Jackson, Jason Richardson, for crying out loud. You had people back in the day that could flat out shoot the rock, right? Right. But nobody did it on a level that Stephen Curry did it. Nobody took the game and flipped it like Stephen Curry. So that's why I think he's the MVP every season, because his impact and his importance to the league and what it become is so imperative. And Steve Kerr said after they won their last championship, their fourth one with that team, Steve Kerr said, none of this happens without Steph. Without Steph, none of this happens. And that's so crucial to understand. The Warriors were, you have to wrap your mind around this, chat, and everybody watching. The Warriors, they were selling tickets on BART. They were selling tickets on public transportation to their games. Actually, they weren't even selling them. They were giving them away for free. The Warriors were giving their tickets away for free on BART. Giving away their tickets for free on BART. Just so people would go to their games. Back like 2000 or like the mid 2000s. Giving away their tickets for free on BART. And this 6'3" nothing kid from Davidson changes the whole league. Obliterates every shooting record. Turns the NBA inside out. Flips it over. Says no. 30 feet from the hoop. Layup. And when you're that blessed, because Stephen Curry's first few years in the league, he was injured. He was hurt. He had ankle problems. He still has ankle problems. He goes out there and plays with 2 ankle braces. But he now has a $1 billion lifetime deal with Under Armour and is the best offensive force in history of sports, I think. That's my opinion. And I know that's crazy and outlandish, but I'm a crazy and outlandish person. So, he's the greatest shooter of all time. That is fact. Nobody will even come close to any of his records. But, the Warriors themselves, they're in a very interesting spot right now. Very interesting. A very interesting spot. Because they are very young at the moment. They're very young, and they're very underdeveloped. They have a lot of good players that have a very adequate ceiling. Like, I think Jonathan Kaminga has a really great ceiling. I feel like Jonathan Kaminga can become a great player. I feel the same way about Moses Moody and Ty Jerome. But we're all still very much waiting, very patiently, waiting to see what James Wiseman becomes. And if James Wiseman becomes the James Wiseman that we think he can become, I call him Baby KG. Baby Kevin Garnett. Then we're chilling. We could be right up there with the great Warrior bigs like Andres Biedrins, Donald Foyle. Zaza Pachulia. But no, I'm just playing. He could be a lot better than those guys, for sure. He can be a lot better than those guys because I believe he's better than those guys. Eric Dampier. I believe he's better than Eric Dampier. But I feel like he could definitely be an all-star. I tweeted that out at the start of the year. James Wiseman would be an all-star. Yeah. Didn't we work out? But there's another big in Golden State that is garnishing a lot of all-star attention, and that is one Mr. Indestructible, as Bob Fitzgerald calls him, Kevon Looney. I hope you guys saw the game against the Hawks, where Klay Thompson scored 54 points, and Kevon Looney had 21 rebounds plus a game-winning shot. Last time I checked, Kevon Looney was top 10 in All-Star voting. I don't think he's going to get in there. But you got to love that for him. He signed for less money for the next few years. Only took $25 million. I like that guy a lot. I really like that guy. And he gets it from the mud. He goes out there and he plays his heart out every game. And you have to love the moxie that he has, He's rarely ever hurt, but yet he puts everything he has out there on the court. He puts his heart out there. He lays it all on the line. He's a great inspiration to the younger guys in the league. The younger guys on that team that are, saw what someone who was just coming up on that team could really do. And I feel like Kevon Looney is a real contender, a real game changer. You put him in, he gets offensive and defensive rebounds. He's putting the ball in the hoop when he needs to be. He's accepting the role that you might not be a Nikola Jokic or a Joel Embiid, but you're Kevon Looney. You're a 4-time NBA champion, I believe, or 3-time NBA champion. That's awesome. Because for a guy like Kevon Looney to be much better than a good amount of the bigs that we've had in the past, Like, I already think Kevon Looney might be better than Andrew Bogut at this point in his career. I think so. I think Kevon Looney might just be the better big man. He might just be the big man that we need. And when you don't have a guy like James Wiseman, you don't have a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, who are pretty much our main bigs right now. It's good to have someone like Kevon Looney where you can fall back and you can understand what you need to do in order to be great. And the Warriors aren't necessarily great right now. They're a 500 team. They're 6th in the West, and we're blessed to be where we are, to be 6th in the West. I think that's a great spot for us. Would it be nice to finish a year with 60 wins and 70 wins? Yeah, that'd be incredible. But we all know what the Warriors can do if they make the playoffs. We've seen it. We know. It is a very scary ball club. It is a very scary team. 4 times they've done it. And to think that they are from any point of letting up or decreasing their talent is insane to think. Look at Klay Thompson. Tore his ACL. Ruptured his Achilles. Scored 54 points. That kind of stuff is unheard of. I know Kevin Durant is going crazy this year and he ruptured his Achilles. And he's now conducting scientific studies. Where he can help other people who suffer from the same injury become physically great again. Whatever's in the water in the NBA, the right people are drinking from it, and the right people, the right players like Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, LeBron James, the best players in the league. They found that fountain of youth, and they are not letting up. I mean, I look at LeBron, I see what he does, Scored 40 plus at age 30 on his 38th birthday. Like, who knows how much longer someone like him could play, right? Who knows how much longer, he could dominate for, right? We look at Tom Brady now, and maybe Tom Brady should have retired. Maybe this year was a little unnecessary. Maybe he jumped the gun a little bit too much on that. Maybe he would have kept his wife. I don't know. It's a whole different conversation. I don't know. If you really just get to thinking, how good really are these players? You just got to use the word great when you talk about LeBron, obviously. And as a Warriors fan, it takes a lot for me to be giving this much love to LeBron. But the Warriors, they just keep getting better. And LeBron knows the Warriors keep getting better. LeBron will always know that. LeBron knows that the best possible tactic for him to beat the Warriors is probably Kyrie Irving. That's the only way he was ever able to do it. Does he win that championship without Kyrie Irving? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's a toss-up. I would say probably not. Probably not. Probably not. I want to hear from you guys, so if you're in chat, you're listening, you have an opinion, let me know. The Lakers are 19 and 22. Nineteen 22. On a team with LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis. And technically speaking, when you look at the way the NBA is structured, if you're great, you're just great. You know, kudos to the top three teams, the Nuggets, Grizzlies, and the Pelicans. You know, the Mavericks are right there. It's insane how well Luka Doncic played this season. You know, they lost Jalen Brunson. They lost a little confidence there, but I think Luka Doncic he saw that as just a wake-up call. He realized he needed to be better. He needed to be that guy. And with him being that guy, he's probably moved up the Mavericks from maybe like a 13th place team to a 4th place team, which is insane. You know, Warriors are sitting pretty in the 6th spot, like I said, 20 and 20, 7 games out. They have a really busy schedule coming up. Really busy. They play San Antonio, Chicago, Washington, Boston, and Cleveland. Those are their next 5 games. Tomorrow they play Phoenix. Three of those 5 teams are over 500. Or 2 of those 5 teams. Technically 3 because the Suns are 500, but they're 20 and 20. It'll be a very interesting matchup, though. Warriors got Bogut. The Warriors got Wiggins back. The Warriors have Dolla back. Will they get Steph Curry back? If they get Steph Curry back, how good will they be? Will they start playing like they should be playing? Will they be well over 500 team? I think so. Or will they keep playing how they've been playing? I think LeBron James definitely makes your team better. Definitely makes your team better. Definitely makes your team much more competitive just because of the attention that he garners when he's out there on the court. Klay Thompson gets more open looks. Jordan Poole gets more open looks. Dante DiVincenzo gets more open looks. Draymond Green, for crying out loud, gets more open looks. Believe it or not, guys, I've seen an entire 5-man squad guarding Steph Curry at once. And I've seen him still make the shot. So, the greatness of the NBA is garnered on how long you can be good and how great you can be. How great you can be for the elongated amount of time that you can survive in the league. You have to survive in the NBA in order to last. And people like Steph Curry, people like LeBron, people like Kobe Bryant, they had that it factor about them. They brought their team from nothing and made them into something multiple times. And look at LeBron. 3 championships, 3 different teams. He won multiple championships with the Heat. Every team he's been on, he's won. That's what greatness is. Players don't go into the NBA knowing they're going to be a LeBron, knowing they're going to be a Kobe, knowing they're going to be a Stephen Curry. They go in there with the mindset that every day I'm going to get better. Every day I'm going to work on my craft. Every day I'm going to focus on what I have to do that day. I'm going to focus on my opponent. I'm not going to let the talking heads get to me. And that is a mentality that wins you championships. Because when you have that mentality, it's not a me mentality. It's a we mentality. And we mentalities in the NBA work. When you have your team's best interest at the forefront of your mind every game, you're going to make a difference. You're going to win. And when you win, you become great. Because when you become great, you win. It is a revolving door. And I think the way the NBA is going this year, we've seen I get so giggly and just happy when I think about what we've seen in the NBA this year. Because it's not even February yet. It's not even February. You know? It's not even February, and we're seeing flat out greatness. We're seeing flat out greatness, and I'm just really happy to be able to see the basketball we're seeing. The players that we have right now are incredible. Best league in the world. My prediction for the Warriors, if everybody stays healthy, able to get James Wiseman back, JaMychal Green, Jonathan Kuminga. I feel like they have a really good chance. Oh man, look at these standings right now. I feel like the Kings are higher than the Warriors. That's just no less than that. That's a first. Wow, good for them. Word to Deer and Fox, am I right? But my prediction for the Warriors this year, if they can get everybody healthy and start playing like they should be, they could easily maybe be a 4, maybe even a 3rd seed in the West. I feel like they could pass up the Mavericks and the Pelicans. Luka's gonna be great all season, but it's the Western Conference, you know. Trailblazers could catch fire. The Jazz, who were supposed to be a rebuild team, but apparently they didn't want to do that this year, and started off with the hottest records in the league, and they're 20-23 right now. So, I mean, the Suns could, the Suns could beat the Warriors tomorrow and catch up with us, right? Us meaning the Warriors. But you really gotta credit Bob Myers, you know, for keeping this core together. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. There's championship DNA in there. There's championship DNA. There's winners. There's players that know how to finish games, that know what it takes to win it, to go a whole grueling NBA 82 game season, go through the playoffs, and win. I remember one year, the Warriors, I think it was the second to the last championship they won. They were like 16-3 or 16-2. It was something insane like that, right? Granted, there was a good amount of injuries per round. You know, it was a year. Zaza Pachulia allegedly injured Kawhi Leonard, but whatever. He got his revenge on us in 2019. So yeah, whatever. But that is a team that knows how to play basketball in the summer. Let me tell you. May through June or July, best team in the world. There's a reason they call the playoffs, or the regular season and the playoffs after the Warriors win the championship, the Warriors Invitational. They call it the Warriors Invitational because that's what it is. They have that target on their back, and they are getting every team's best game after that. Every team's best game. And maybe that's why they've lost to all those teams on the road. It's a crazy thing this year. The Warriors have the best record at home, but the worst record on the road. You know, they went 5-2 this homestand. They lost to the Magic and the Pistons, and those are two teams they lost to twice this year, once at home and once on the road. We called this the Revenge Tour, right? They've lost games that they should have won, I think, in my thought process. I know that contradicts what I just said about a team that knows how to finish a game, but they haven't won a championship with this team yet. They haven't won a championship with Ty Jerome and Dante DiVincenzo, Ryan Rollins. You know, they've won with Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. And, you know, so those guys, they know how to win. They haven't won with Anthony Lamb. You know, This is a new team. Will the Warriors be able to beat teams in the playoffs with this still with this young core and this, well, I shouldn't say core, but this young group and this veteran core? Will that be enough? Will that be enough for them to propel themselves to a 5th championship in this era for them? I certainly think it will be. I certainly think that the Warriors will be they'll definitely be in contention. They'll definitely be there. Warriors are a second half team. They are. They're a second half team. I solemnly believe that come the second half, the Warriors turn it up. But if I could pick, I know how the MLB, every team has to have an all-star. I feel like right now, you take Klay Thompson out of the conversation, Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, all the obvious players. I think you pick one of the other role player guys. I think you got to go Kevin Looney. You have to go Kevon Looney. And I know I've spoken to him before, but Kevon Looney is... I know I like to say a lot that Draymond Green is the heartbeat of the team, and he's been that for a long time, and he still is. But I think Kevon Looney is very much so transitioning into that stasis as well. I feel like he's entered into this place where he's just coming into his own. He's coming into his own. The game is slowing down for him. He's doing things that veteran bigs do, and he's a veteran big now. He's doing things that great bigs do, which is rebound a ton. His numbers are just insane. He's rebounding a ton. He's rebounding a ton. He's getting his points too, and he's just dominating on defense. And I think when you break it down, there are a lot of games where Kevon Looney in the fourth quarter, he was spectacular. He's doing all the little things to keep the team in the game. He's getting that extra rebound that gets Steph a 3. He's getting that extra defensive stop that gives the Warriors another opportunity to score if they're down, or to help pad a lead. He does all that extra stuff that you don't necessarily you don't see that in the stat sheet. You don't see that in the stat sheet. You don't see that in the post-game report. But when you watch the game, when you actually sit down and watch Kevon Looney play basketball, it's a thing of beauty. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's about it for me, though. I'm on my hour mark. I appreciate everybody for stopping in. This is the Slim Dolla Show. This is the new media. This is the truth, and these are my thoughts. Thank you guys for tapping in. Idupa, much love. Catch some sleep. Go back to bed. It's 5 a.m. I'll be uploading this to YouTube more than likely. So if you didn't catch it here, you'll catch it there. But as for me and as for you guys, I love y'all. Stay frosty.